Hello there, my name is Richard, the first time seeing my channel. User review cartoon series, anime series, so something computer random. And today we're talking about a new anime series from Hulu called The Croods, The Family Tree. You have to say, I never seen the sequel of The Croods, so I don't know how accurate or the fact it was sort of rebooting. I really don't know much, but the series does explain what's actually going on in the first couple minutes to get these update what's going on in the show, because in the movie what I heard of, it was a decent sequel. It was actually kind of fun, but all of that I really don't know is anything accurate. But besides that, I wasn't sure what to expect, because usually DreamWorks shows are sort of hit or miss, because they sometimes they're really good, sometimes not really good. It depends what type of fan you are and what do you expect. And this one, I was sort of personally surprised how interesting it really is. I mean, the show is all about the comedy, all about how the crews meet the betterments and how they live their life on this farm, and how to deal with their own issues, understand their sort of what we can do right here. In fact, the first episode is all about the Croods are completely bored and have nothing to do because everything is provided of them. They don't need to hunt. They don't need to worry about anything. They're just bored. Every time they want to do something, the betterment says, "Don't worry about it. Just chill, relax, don't overthink it." At the same time, if you take everything you worry about, you have nothing to do, you will get bored. You will get kind of crazy because you need to do something. That's like your instinct. You need to do something. And I think that's what's so fascinating about this show, because you can tell how different how the betterments and the Croods really are, and how they sort of complement themselves, and also kind of hate each other because they do smash heads all the time. For example, the first episode, the Croods try to talk to the betterments like, give us something to do, give us meaning, we need to do something. And the betterment says, well, yeah, everything is prepared, everything is sort of has like sort of like a system, machine does by itself. But at the same time, you realize things can easily break, and you need to groove to their own strength, their own muscle. They actually can help, but because the betterments are just so cocky, so stuck up, so intelligent, you understand, like, really don't need muscle. I just easily tie a new knot, add new something. That's it. But at the same time, they're sort of wrong. But once more, they don't go in deep. They show you sort of like side jokes, or actually show you maybe his idea is sort of kind of flawed, because once more, he's not muscle. The betterments, they're all brains, no bronze. And you see this sort of weird, interesting thing like, okay, if we don't help, what do you want us to help? Every time the betterments have something to do or want to do, they keep rejecting it, except for one idea that's sort of the kind of like what a jump berry, so something, this weird plant creature, it just jumps, so you need to catch it. But once more, it's always about to see them. What's the difference between how the crew does it, and the difference between the betterment does it. At the same time, it's more like who has the better idea what to do with the sort of assignment, in other words. Yeah, that's the thing this show grabs your attention, because they also add different layers, like what is friendship? What if, let's say, a guy meets with Dunk, because in the movies you never have them sort of hanging out. So this is the one the show, I think, one of the biggest strengths. They give it that sort of deal. They will be friends, like Doug and Guy, or they will click or not click because of how different they are, and they fully explore that. You also explore the relationship of what that guy, Crude and Phil. They're so different and so, I want to say similar, because they both want to protect their families, but at the same time, they just do it so differently, and you see them sort of butting heads over and over again because how they think they're the best way to do it. And that's why it's so fascinating, because they introduce different ideas that the movies can never actually do, because they're like 45 minutes, well, not 45, like an hour and 20 minutes a movie, you can do so much. And I think this was a genius thing to do with this series, to sort of explore the relationships, to explore ideas that you can't put in the movies because they're so simple, but at the same time so interesting. Like, what would happen if, I don't know, you need to dig holes for water, and you see that they dig out diamonds? And the fascinating thing is, they don't care about diamonds because diamonds are sort of useless because they don't have value. You can't do anything. At least that time period. This time period right now, with 2000 whatever year you're watching this, is very valid. They're very expensive, but what's more, and back in the days, what you can do diamonds. That's what I like. They dig up holes to make water, but keep throwing down diamonds, diamonds that is completely useless to them, and just leave it on the side, just to let you watch it. I mean, they don't focus it, but they leave it in the corner to give you a visual idea. To them, is water is more important than diamonds, and they do little subtle things here there just to grab your attention to see what is more important of them, and that's sort of interesting. Also, I love it. They sort of attempted to develop the characters a little bit more. I mean, the best they can because this still is a DreamWorks owned property, and DreamWorks don't want to expand the ideas because they're still making movies and don't want to add things that they don't know to make it less complicated. So I'm wondering what else they could go deeper. Of course, this show has one major problem is the fact that comedy is not that funny. I mean, I chuckled, but I never laughed. I mean, I thought it was kind of cute jokes, but never amazing. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest weakness of this show is that they try to make it funny, and apparently none of the comedy actually works, but the rest of the stuff, the relationship, the things they may do, the things have to talk to other creatures, it's super fascinating because you get your attention. Like, how will that work? How they need to do this? You think the Bettermans is just too stuck up to realize they need the crews to do things, or the crews are just too dumb to realize, yeah, she stop touching the stuff around us to actually survive. If we keep touching it, we keep breaking it. And what's more, they have a lot of interesting ideas, interesting relationship of each character and how we deal with. Because they can add even more stuff. They can have add like a very dangerous creature messing with them. They can actually add a different tri-people passing to make sure if they're friendly or enemies or they can trade. But once more, because how the Betterments and the Croods, how they sort of tackle things, they can make it more interesting and figure out, okay, what's the better idea? How we can tackle this? And that's the strength of the show, not the comedy. And the comedy will make it or break the show, depends on you, because the jokes are not funny. I'll be honest with you. It can make you chuckle, but nothing really that big. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest problems. I think there are another problem in this series, but it's sort of minor if I don't notice. Is sort of the animation is a little bit too stretchy in times. Like they were not yet done fixing the little bugs that they need to do. I feel like sort of time crunch just delivered this show, but all of that, that's something you might notice. I'm not sure, but once more, if you have to be a sort of obsessive of animation to actually notice that. Although that, I think it was a decent show. I mean, hopefully they do get a season 2, just have more funnier writers or figure out how to make a joke better. And that's one of the issues. Now, I really get nothing else to say. Just one question. Do you see this show? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me down below. Let me know. I really got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.